Hi guys, so in this video we're going to be covering the anatomy of a ticket in Zendesk. So that's going to cover what a ticket is, how a ticket is different from email. We'll do a walkthrough to show you how a ticket's kind of dealt with. Within that we'll talk about the life cycle of the ticket, and finally we'll give you an activity to kind of work through at the end of this lesson. So let's start off with what a ticket is. Essentially it's just a conversation with the customer. The customer usually needs some help with something and you are going to provide that help. However, the question that we should really be asking is not what a ticket is, but how a ticket is different from an email, since an email is essentially a conversation with the customer as well. So let's take, for example, the use case where Bob emails in your company and then somehow through forwarding rules or what have you, it's forwarded onto you. You can't deal with it, so you send it through to Mary, who gets in touch with Bob, and he's confused because he's already been talking to somebody else in another part of the company. You didn't realize, but it also got forwarded through to Jane, who's been helping him out. So Mary is a bit confused as to kind of why Jane's kind of working on it. Jane's confused, the customer's confused, and everybody gets a bit frustrated. So to kind of solve this, that's where Zendesk comes in. So when a customer sends in an email, it goes into Zendesk, and rather than forwarding rules or what have you, it all gets sorted within the one conversation and the one thread. If it needs to go to different departments, that's fine. You move the ticket to the different department, and everybody can see what everybody else said. So there's no confusion there, and the customer is happy. But this is not restricted to just email. This covers all of the channels that Zendesk caters for, that being Twitter, Facebook, chat, help center, your mobile SDK, web widget, you name it. When a ticket comes in from one of those channels, when the agent responds, that their response goes back along the same lines. If it came from Twitter, the response will go back into Twitter. If it came through chat, your response will be a chat response. So you're truly able to kind of meet the customer where they're at. Okay, so now we're going to jump into a bit of a demonstration of how the workflow of a ticket would happen from the end user or the customer submitting a ticket via email to the agent answering it, and how they go about doing that. So let's jump out of this presentation and move across to go and create a ticket via email. So we've gone to a Gmail account, and I'm going to send it into our demo account today. So the demo account that we're going to be working to is going to be a fictitious hotel. So we'll be answering kind of tickets that you would expect to answer in a hotel. For example, a question about check-in times. So, hi guys, what is the earliest I'm able to check in to the hotel by? We'll send that off. And as soon as we send that off, what will happen is that the desk will automatically reply telling the customer that they've received the email and we'll be looking into it. So if I click on this email that we've just received here, you can see here that it says your request has been received and is being reviewed by our support staff. To add additional comments, reply to this email. So that's what your end user will see. From an agent's perspective, you'll see something very different. So I've moved across over to the agent interface, and there's a lot to kind of take in. There's some controls up here at the top right hand side, a bunch of controls down on the left. All you need to know in order to be able to deal with tickets is where to find those tickets, and that is by going to your views on the left hand side here. And views are a way that your admin users will have predefined how your tickets are going to be organized and viewed by the different parts of your organization. For example, they might make any dev tickets, go to the dev group, and then build a view specifically for the developers. In this case, we've got some fairly generic views. Your unsolved tickets being tickets that are assigned to you that haven't been solved yet. and just general unassigned tickets. Now, we do go over what views are and how to build views in another video, so don't get too worried about if you don't fully understand how views work. Just suffice to know that to get to the ticket that we just sent in, you go to your views, and then you'll see that the ticket we've just sent in will appear at the top. Now, occasionally you will have to kind of refresh your views to make new tickets come in and at the top here. And we can see that the ticket that we've just sent in, check-in time from our pretend customer, has been received 1 minute ago. So to be able to deal with this ticket, I'm just going to click on this ticket and start working through it. So we'll start from top and work our way around of all the controls that you'll find within the kind of the ticket solving kind of page. First up, we've got this little icon right in the middle here, and that signifies that this ticket came in via email. If it had come in via a different channel, say for example Facebook or Twitter or chat, then the icon would be different to match that. You'd get a Tweety bird if it was Twitter, and an F if it was Facebook, and a chat icon if it came in from chat. I've got the subject at the top here, details, important details about the ticket. Firstly, when it came in, what email address it was sent from, and then what email address it was sent to on the right hand side there as well. At the top of the ticket, you've got kind of access to, you can kind of delve into more information around the ticket if you like. So we've got the ticket here, but then we've got the actual user if we click on this button here. And by clicking this button, it's going to give me information about who this person is that sent the ticket into the desk. So who is Jane Whitehorse? We can see all of the tickets that she's submitted in the past. If she's a troublesome user, then you're going to be seeing a lot of tickets come in. You might kind of, to get a bit of perspective about the ticket you're working on, you might want to go into a couple of these tickets, perhaps even a solved one, to see how it was solved and what you think of the actual user. On top of that, you'll be able to see what's happening and what actions they've been taking on your help center. So we can see that they've been posting in the communities. They've voted on a few items here. If I click on community posts, then I get access to be able to go and check those out as well. On the left hand side of the user settings, I can see more information about this user. If they've got a phone number, if they've got a Facebook page, that'll all be in the side here. Down the bottom, we've got we can see any custom information that your business might be storing about each user. So in this case, we've got the VIP status, and she's a silver member, and that might kind of play into effect on how we kind of solve this ticket, solve this ticket over here, how we solve this ticket. So yeah, and then kind of one level higher is rather than looking at the user who submitted the ticket, we can know a little bit more about the organization that the user was from. So if I click on Brumble Publishing, you can see that over on the right hand side, I'll be able to see all tickets submitted by everybody in her organization. And on the left, once again, I've got little bits of information that I might be able to see. If I've got any custom ticket, custom organization fields, they'll appear in there as well. So yeah, before you start kind of working on a I'll get rid of these two tickets here. Before you start working on solving a ticket, it's best to check out who the user is about and what their organization is about. All right, next up we've got, we can kind of start kind of responding. So she's asking what check-in time, so I can say, hi, Jane, you can check in by 3 p.m. at the earliest. Okay, so what we've got here is a public comment. So if I was to submit this right now, that is going to send off this comment back to Jane, and she'll receive an email. Not only will she receive an email, but she'll also be able to log in to the Help Center and view her tickets in there, and it'll appear as a comment in the threads on the Help Center as well. Now, if I was to change this from a public reply to an internal note, you can see that the background changes, and this actually won't be sent to her at all. Internal notes are used to be able to talk to one another within your business, and they will never be seen by the customer. Okay, so at the bottom here, you've got your WYSIWYG editor, if you like, and you can attach items to the ticket. Okay, so enough about this section of the ticket. Let's move over to the fields that you can see on the left-hand side. First up is brand. So if you're on the enterprise plan or you've got an added extra on the plus plan, the brand will be a field. If not, then this won't be a field. But if this hasn't already been set, by the time the ticket comes in, you'll be able to set that by clicking this drop-down field. Then we've got the assignee. And the assignee is the agent who is working on the ticket. So that could be you. If I was assigning this to somebody else, I'd kind of do a search for another agent and then submit that. But I'd probably provide an internal note as to why I'm assigning that ticket to the other agent, so they don't just come in and go, well why was I assigned this ticket? And then have to work it out for themselves. So another good use case for internal notes. If you're not assigning it to somebody else, you can go ahead and just click on Take It, and that will assign it to you. So I was assigning it to Vince in the dev group, and it's assigned to me in the dev group, but I want it to be in support, so you can go and search for yourself as well. And that goes to the same as CCs. So if you want to CC yourself, just click on CC me. If you want to CC somebody else, just start typing their name, and it'll do a search of all of your users in your system, and you'll be able to find who you want to add the CC to and add them like so. Easy enough. All right. Below that, we have a ticket form, or you need to make a selection of the form that you want to choose for the ticket. Once again, if you're on the enterprise or plus plan, this is going to be probably something you're going to be dealing with. If you're on the regular plan, then forms won't be included. But forms are a way of kind of defining different types of tickets, and then providing kind of custom ticket fields relative to the different types of tickets. For example, here we have a general inquiry ticket, and there isn't much kind of associated with this ticket. We've just got the regular system fields here. But if I move over to a bookings form, you can see here there's quite a lot more information that we can kind of record on this ticket relative to what a bookings form would require. So yeah, that's what a form is. Yeah, can I have fun playing with those? Next up, you've got tags. Now, as an agent, you don't really need to worry about the tags field. It's more of a workflow tool that your admins will use to kind of make stuff happen behind the scenes. So unless you've kind of been instructed on kind of specific reasons why you need to add X tag, you can kind of overlook it as an agent, really, and move on to the next two fields. Now, the type and priority fields are Zendesk kind of native system fields that you'll see on pretty much all Zendesk tickets. On some desks, they have these turned off, but in most cases, you will always have need to set a type and a priority. So let's go through those and we'll figure out what is what. First up, we've got question as a type, and this is the most basic type of ticket. A question is just a question. Somebody's got a question and you're going to provide them with an answer. And you'll find that most tickets get set as a question. Next up, we've got incident and problem. Now I say incident and problem because these two ticket types will work in conjunction with one another. So I've got a slide over here that I want to kind of show you. So we'll just jump back over here and I'll talk about your problems and incidences. So first up, a problem is a ticket that defines the cause of an issue. For every single problem ticket, you can have a bunch of incidences that are linked to that problem. So while the problem ticket defines the cause, the incident tickets the issues that arise as a result of the actual problem. So for example, with our hotel, if the Wi-Fi server was broken, then that would be the problem ticket, and all of your customers who are reporting no Wi-Fi, those would be set as incident tickets linked back to the problem when they came in. So this kind of problem incident is kind of like a parent-child relationship. If you were to solve the problem ticket, you solve all of your incident tickets. So I'll show you how that works over here. So we'll go and actually make this ticket here that we're working on an incident ticket. And you'll see that when you do make this an incident ticket, it'll ask you to link this incident to a problem. So when I click in this box, it'll list all of the problems, the current problems on the desk. We've only got one at the moment. And as per kind of the scenario I gave there, we've got a problem ticket, hotel Wi-Fi server is broken and needs replacing. So if I click that there, this will kind of form a link to the problem ticket. And you'll see at the top right hand side the perspective of the ticket has changed to give you to tell you it's been linked to ticket 74. If I go ahead and update that ticket, that link to 74 will turn into an actual link where I'll be able to even go into ticket 74 and find out more about this problem ticket as well. So another benefit of problem tickets, not only when you solve a problem ticket and any kind of comment that you kind of state when you're solving a problem ticket will be sent out to all of the incident tickets, and those incident tickets will be also solved, is that you get this view of what's inside of this problem. So we can see here for this problem, we've got kind of 4 other tickets reporting the issue at hand. So whoever's kind of working on that problem probably wants to snap to it and fix that pretty quickly so that those people can get their issue resolved. Okay, so that is problems and incidences. Finally, we've got task. Now, a task is something that you're going to be looking to do on a ticket, and for every task, you've got a unique kind of ticket field that is associated with task, which is a due date field. And this due date field ties in with other areas of Zendesk like triggers and automations kind of to help your admin users set up workflows so that if you've set a task, you might get reminders, for example, if your task is a few days from being due or something like that. Okay, so there are your ticket types. We'll just change this one back to a question. Then you've got your priorities. Now, your priorities, you've got low, normal, high, and urgent. Some desks will just have normal and high. I would recommend when kind of setting a priority to a ticket is if your customer that you're talking to is going to be seeing the ticket, probably don't set the ticket to low because everybody thinks that their ticket is a high priority. So probably set the ticket to a normal most of the time and then use your high and your urgent priorities sparingly. So after the native Zendesk ticket fields, type and priority, we've got our custom ticket fields that have been specifically created for this help desk's use case. In this case, it's a hotel, so you could potentially choose the hotel that it's relating to. And you can see here that this is a drop-down field, but it's also a nested drop-down field, so I can choose kind of items within kind of another item, like so. Whereas room type is a singular drop-down field where I can just choose the room type. You've got date fields where I can choose the check-in and check-out date. Now, of course, as I mentioned, these are custom fields and could be quite different depending on what your desk is and what your use case is. There are plenty of other field types out there, numeric field types, kind of credit card field types, decimal text fields, and you might come across all of those depending on what the ticket form calls for. So yeah, so that's kind of going through everything on the left of the ticket. Now down the bottom here, I've got this drop up menu, if you like, called Apply Macro. And a macro is a set of predefined settings that you can add to a ticket to help you answer commonly asked questions faster. So in this case, Jane's asking for check-in times. I've created an example, a macro that we can use here that's adding a predefined response for that. Maybe we get that asked all the time. Now this isn't just kind of limited to pushing in text into the the ticket. You can also use macros to set all of these ticket fields on the left hand side. Agents can build their own sets of macros, as well as using kind of macros that have been created by the admins of the whole help desk. So they're quite a useful tool that you can use to really help you speed up the way that you solve tickets. So that's macros. Then at the top right hand side here, there's a few things you can do. Once you've submitted this response, you can actually go ahead and create whatever you've done to the ticket as a macro. So this will take you straight over to the macro screen. It'll set the subject, the description of the macro to what we've got here, but it'll also give you all of these settings on the left-hand side here, so you don't actually have to recreate that those settings manually. So that means if you're working on a ticket and you think, oh gee whiz, this is a common question that I get asked a lot, then you only have to answer it that one last time, and then you create it as a macro, and you don't have to kind of write the response anymore. Next up, you're able to merge this ticket into another ticket. So why would you want to do that? Well, this ties back in with what I was talking about before when we were kind of delving into kind of who the person is behind the ticket that's been submitted. So you might be looking at this person and going, oh, that's nice. Actually, they've submitted two of the same ticket. Sometimes what happens is that the customer gets a little bit frustrated with the kind of response time and submits the same ticket several times because they think it's going to be solved faster. So what you can do, rather than kind of solving all three of them with the same response, is to merge them all into the one ticket. And to do that, you're going to be clicking on merge into another ticket, like so. So this is where I can define in this kind of section here what the other ticket is that I'm going to be merging this ticket into. Now it's always the case that the ticket that you are on, the one that you've clicked to merge into another ticket, this ticket is the one that's going to be closed, and the other ticket that you're merging this ticket into will stay open, and then on both tickets there'll be a notification sent out. So let's go and choose a ticket to kind of merge this into. I'll just type in kind of ticket 76 and we'll click on merge, like so. So now we can see here what's going to happen on both tickets. In this ticket, ticket 77, this ticket will be closed with the following comment. And if you want it to be a private comment so the customer doesn't see it, you can untick this box. Probably when you're closing a ticket, it's best to kind of keep the comment public so they can see what's going on. And then on the ticket you're merging into, once again, there's going to be a comment that's been posted as to what's going on. You could probably make this comment a private comment so that the customer doesn't get notified twice about the one thing that's happening to one of their tickets, like so. Once you're happy with what it's going to be saying on both tickets, you click on confirm and merge, and the merge will take place. So yes, that's quite a handy tool for those duplicate tickets you might find yourself facing. Next up, we've got mark as spam. Now, if you mark this ticket as spam, it will suspend this user, and it will kind of get rid of the ticket. Yeah, make sure that you only mark tickets as spam if you're 100% certain that you don't want to be talking to this person anymore. Then second last, you can delete the ticket. Now, in most desks, an agent won't be able to delete tickets, so I'd be surprised if you can see this. But if you do see this, I would advise against not deleting tickets, simply because as soon as you delete a ticket, you put a hole in your support desk's reporting and what's happened. So if your agent needs to look back, or you need to look back as to what's happened, even if it's spam, you want to keep a record of those tickets so that everything stays transparent. Finally, here you've got print ticket, and then that'll allow you to kind of print this in a physical form. So that almost brings us to the end of the anatomy of a ticket. The last part of a ticket is the ticket cycle. So notice down the bottom here we've got the submit as button, but you can submit it as quite a few different things. So in order to explain these, I've actually got some slides that we can go through once again, and let's talk about, we've got this one, let's talk about the different statuses. So first up, we have a new status, and that is for tickets that have been just submitted by your customers. Now, once a ticket moves from a new status into another status, it can never go back. It's only going to be in this status once in its entire life cycle. Another thing to keep in mind is if you assign a new ticket to an agent, then that ticket will automatically be moved from new into an open status, because any ticket that's assigned to an agent can't be in a new status. Okay, the next status is pending, and this is when a ticket is waiting for a customer to get back to you. So usually what will happen with the life cycle of a ticket is the ticket will come in, it'll be in new status, the agent will look at it and go, you know what, I need to ask a few more questions in order to give a nice and accurate answer here. So they'll respond with some questions, and when they do that, they mark the ticket as pending. So they're waiting for the customer to get back. When the customer does respond, the ticket will automatically be moved into an open status, which leads us to the next status, which is open, and it's waiting for an agent to respond. This kind of mechanism of tickets automatically being moved from a pending status into an open status makes it super easy for agents to know what tickets to work on. And here's kind of an example. This could be an agent's kind of a view of an agent's tickets. You can see it's pretty obvious that the open tickets, they're the ones that you need to kind of be working on, and the pending tickets there, those ones are waiting for the customer to get back, so you don't have to worry about those. The next status is on hold, and this is when the ticket is not waiting for the customer, it's not waiting for the agent to get back, it's actually waiting on a third party. Maybe you're waiting on your development department to kind of create a new feature, maybe you're waiting on delivery, maybe it's something else completely different. But it's waiting on a third party to get back to you before the ticket can move on. Now, this on hold status isn't a default status, so you might not see this as one of your statuses. It needs to be switched on within the ticket field settings. Once a agent kind of believes that they've provided a response to the customer that's going to solve all the questions and problems that the customer is having, they'll mark the ticket as solved. So yeah, kind of fairly self-explanatory. But if the customer responds to a ticket while it's in any one of these states, pending, on hold, or solved, once again, the ticket will always be moved back into an open status, which ties in with that ticket view that I showed you before for agents to easily know which tickets they need to work on. Finally, you've got the closed status. So this status is when a ticket is completely done, it's finished. Usually what will happen is that a ticket will be moved into a closed status 4 days after a ticket is marked as solved. Now this might be different depending on your desk, but this is just Zendesk default settings. So once the ticket is closed, you can't change it in any way. You can't add any comments to it, you can't change ticket fields, you can't add any tags to it. Nothing can be done to the closed ticket. With one exception, in that if the customer responds to an email thread to a closed ticket, what will happen in order to keep that kind of trajectory of that conversation or the kind of flow going, a follow-up ticket is created. And on that follow-up ticket, there will always be a link back to the original closed ticket, and vice versa. On the closed ticket, a link at the top of the ticket will be given that links you through to the follow-up ticket. So you can always follow the conversation thread up and down, you know, what could possibly be a chain of closed and follow-up tickets. So yeah, so that is the ticket life cycle. Finally, we've got an activity for you to kind of do. If you're just starting out as an agent, you can go into your help desk. If you don't have a help desk, sign up to a kind of a demo Zendesk account at zendesk.com, and you get a 30-day trial to try it out. And then you can make up a scenario where someone needs help, send in an email from one of your Gmail accounts that you didn't sign up to Zendesk with, and then start having a conversation with yourself or add other agents, and then have a play around with solving tickets. That's essentially the activity here. So that brings us to the end of this video. Hopefully you got a lot out of this. Hopefully you didn't find it too boring, but yeah, that wraps us up here. Thanks for watching.